Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight you find me in the council chamber of Glastonbury Town Council, and the reason I'm here next to all this lovely food you can see spread out is the man over there looking absolutely splendid in a light cream suit. It's Mr David Greenway, the town's ex-town crier, and we're here tonight for a very special reason. I'll tell you more after this. Today's video is sponsored by Heart of the Tribe Gallery, where art meets community. More about that later. Well, here we are. Look, it's Mr Dave Greenway, my friend and the ex-town crier. What's it like being an ex-town crier?
Quiet.
Is it?
Yes.
You like that?
For the wife, it's been very quiet.
Good,
yes.
good,
yes.
good.
Nobody to practice on now. You know, things. But yes, and I'm just enjoying hobbies and interests, and
we were talking about your astrophotography.
Oh yes,
all this stuff's good. Yeah. I'm going to look into this.
Oh yes, I'm eye in the heavens most nights when it's clear.
Yeah,
and been taking some amazing pictures of deep sky objects. Thoroughly enjoying it. It's quite grabbed me. I've always been interested in space and astronomy, teaching it obviously and stuff. But to have my own little smart telescope. And you just tell it where to photograph, and it just points to the right place, and away we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know you're famous when you're photobombed by the mayor. Hello, Michael. How you doing? Do you want to come say hello?
Hello.
This is our wonderful mayor, Michael.
Hello.
How do you remember Mr Greenway here?
I haven't known him very long because I was away from Britain for about 25 years, living in the South Pacific. Hello.
Hello, sir.
And so when I came back, that's when I met David, so probably about 2022.
Yeah.
But I've often seen him in around the place doing oh-yaying.
He does oh-yay rather well, doesn't he? Yes, very good at his oh-yays. Yes, and he's clinky.
Yeah, and we've spoken at length over these 3 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you can even hold a sentence together, which is brilliant, isn't it, for a town crier? And you town crier, he struggles with that, but he's a lovely boy. Anyway, David, listen, you've got people coming in who want to see you. I'm going to leave you to it. Have a great evening, and we'll see the ceremony later.
Oh, bless you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you for all your town crying and all your
It's been a pleasure and an honour.
We're in a curious position in that the award for David was approved when Councillor Bandu was the mayor, and yet it's me who's now delivering it. And this is the same as happened with
Michael, it's a man.
It's a man. And it was the same on Jane, who was our most recent free woman. We did the same thing at the tribunal, but it was someone else who proposed it and signed it, and me who has to give it. So, would you care to say a few words about how it happened?
I would be delighted to say a few words about how it happens. If you can take your eyes off the rather excellent slideshow which David put together, full of very revealing pictures, all of which tell a story. I've been telling David he should have a caption competition, because every one of these deserves its own caption. What exactly is going on here, and here, and here, and here? Yes. There's 365 pictures, I'm told, by the way. It's roughly, so there's more to come. Anyway, last year I had the honour of being mayor at Glastonbury, which I've never done before. And I was so happy, genuinely happy and relieved to have the support of so many people. We had 2 mace bearers, we had the town crier, we had the town drummer, we had the town piper, and all our fellow councillors. But the town crier especially was a real support. And I didn't kind of know this before you start doing things as the mayor. You have to get dressed up, you have to stand out on the street, and you often have to say something. And just to have somebody going in front of you, calling the whole place to order, was such a relief. It really was. I was really genuinely grateful to David. He was the only town crier I'd ever known in my life. So for me, he really is still the archetypal town crier. Just look at the pictures. He is the town crier, just being a town crier. Yes.
Two more
At
drinks.
the same time, I knew it wasn't always easy. So a couple of memories I've got are both from the Glastonbury Carnival, which happens in November. It's coming up soon. And for 2 years running, partly because Indra, the previous mayor, was ill 1 year, so I deputised, we all got dressed up. We went to the head of the procession and we walked for at least a mile all the way around in the route with David crying all the way. And to try and cry above the general din and noise and chaos of the Glastonbury Carnival is quite something. But there he was with his bell, with his costume, bravely crying away, trying to be heard above the din. So it's a surprisingly difficult job. It takes it out of you. It's not just dressing up and walking about. It's genuinely crying with all your heart and soul. So when David handed it on, after I think 10 years, much longer than my time as mayor, I did 1 year. When he handed it on, I wasn't surprised. I had no idea how we would follow him. To my amazement, another archetypal town crier stepped forward. Brad, who you heard your action a minute ago. And there's a kind of lineage. So David is part of that lineage, and I just really want to thank you for it. So I was really happy when it was proposed in our town council to make David a Freeman of Glastonbury, partly because he was much more than a town crier. He was a real ambassador for Glastonbury. He took every opportunity for 10 years just to celebrate and promote and just talk up Glastonbury ceaselessly. Not only that, he flew drones. He's got a kind of secret hobby, flying drones, taking amazing pictures of Glastonbury. Anyway, David has loved Glastonbury and just put his heart out for it for these 10 years. So thank you very much. It's an honour richly deserved. Thank you. I'll just read a few words of this. Beautifully.
Nice.
Thank you. This actually is the highest honour Glastonbury Town Council can give to a Glastonbury resident. So it is actually a very special thing. We don't have very many. Alderman Ian Tucker is a free man. Jane there is a free woman. Jan White, Mary Parker, Sir Michael Evis, and Alan Gloak, who's both passed away. So it's quite rare. It's a special thing. So really, thank you very much for coming. As Lockabandoo said, he was mayor at the time. Margaret Oakton, who's over there, she proposed that this be awarded to David. And it was resolved unanimously by the town council. So there's a little bit of mystery and some misinformation about it, like you're allowed to drive your sheep down Market Street. Now, whether that's true or not, we don't know. But really, David, would you care to step forward? So it gives me very great pleasure to present you with this. David Greenway has been duly admitted an honorary freeman of the town of Glastonbury. Come and see Glastonbury and then goes. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So if you want to see an ex-town brass speech, Your Worship, brilliant, badly. Town councillors and distinguished guests, thank you all for attending this evening. And I wish to extend a special thank you to to those of you that have travelled considerable distances to be with us here this evening. I'd like to thank Glastonbury Town Council for bestowing this wonderful honour upon me and organising this lovely evening. It really means a great deal to me. I'm also delighted they've decided to ensure the continuation of the tradition of Town Cry, so ably taken up here by my good friend Brad. Almost 12 years ago to the day, I sat right here in this very room with Mayor Sue Thurgood and Denny Michel to be interviewed and then subsequently auditioned for the post of Town Crier. Who would have known the fun I was about to have? I've enjoyed every single second in serving this fine town. It truly has been a great honour. I have so many wonderful memories, leading parades and pilgrimages, being kidnapped by Vikings for charity, opening shops and events, welcoming VIPs to the town, attending motorcycle rallies and road runs, unleashing zombies onto the high street, taming dragons, welcoming thousands of tourists, writing blogs about my experiences, giving talks on the history of town crying, proclaiming at important national moments, for example, a change in monarch, representing the town in town crier competitions, appearing on national and local TV and radio, announcing marriages and engagements, and even posing in front of the Glastonbury tour for a charity calendar with nothing more than my bell, tripod and scroll strategically placed to preserve my dignity. Oh, I was Mr. September, by the way. I've enjoyed it all. And I remember saying to Brad shortly after I heard that he was appointed to the new town crier, I don't think you quite realise how much fun you're about to start having. I'd like to thank all the Glastonbury Town Councils over the years for their support and encouragement. Long may Glastonbury flourish. And finally, I'd like to pay a special tribute to my dear, long-suffering wife, Lucy, for all her support, especially after being abandoned on so many occasions whilst I've gone out sporting white tights and frilly lace to shout at the general public. It's been an absolute blast. Thank you.
Oh.
Free people and older people and councillors and ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to ask you to charge your glasses. If you have an empty glass, please come and charge your glasses. And while you do so, I shall tell you a little story about how David made Prince Charles into King Charles, and it was his own act that did this, ladies and gentlemen, because when a monarch is declared, first of all, the Kings of Arms declare the monarch at the monarchial place. At this point, it was Windsor Castle. The three Kings of Arms, whose very signatures are in this room, declare the monarch at Windsor, and then, an hour later, all of the high sheriffs and lord lieutenants declare the monarch in their respective counties. And then, an hour later, all of the towns and all of the large places in this country also declare the monarch. That, ladies and gentlemen, is at 3 o'clock. And until that declaration happens, the monarch is still not the monarch. So, cunningly, I thought that if David pronounced King Charles III at 5 minutes past 3, we would be the final place in the country to proclaim the king and therefore make the king. So, ladies and gentlemen, not only is he an esteemed town crier, he is a kingmaker. I give you David Greenway. Good help.
Thank you.
It turns out when I started writing about David, there is actually quite a lot to write about. So please forgive me and please try
I've
to...
been sat in the dining room all afternoon writing this. Been worrying me sick. So I just want to deny it's not me, okay?
So, for those of you that don't know, I'm Lucy's daughter, Penny. So I first met David over 20 years ago now. Don't actually recall the first meeting, David, I have to confess. But he was your stereotypical middle-aged science teacher. Nice corduroy trousers, sensible shoes, general demeanour of being solid and reliable, and living in a house that was lost somewhere in the 1970s. There were some very questionable aesthetic choices in that house. What you soon come to realise, though, as you get to know David, is that underneath this mild-mannered exterior is a man who is full of passion and a drive for excellence. Now, up in the small bedroom of the house that B&Q forgot was David's Radio Shack. It's set up with radio equipment that enabled David to speak to random people all across the globe. And many hours were spent in his little room connecting with people in the days before social media, and texting at the speed of sound was the way that we communicated. If I remember correctly, there is a list somewhere, very important, held by very important people, that has David's name on it. And in the event of some major catastrophe where all technology fails, David is able to communicate with these very important people in very important places and communicate to the world around him, precursor to town crying. His communication skills, along with his passion for science and his drive for excellence, were what led David to his long and fulfilling career in teaching. He's one of those truly lucky people who find their vocation and spend their entire life enjoying their work. I was never fortunate enough to witness David teaching, but judging by the kind words of former pupils and former colleagues that he's reconnected with on the internet, he is that rare breed of teacher who engages and inspires his students, with his passion for his subject spilling over into his classes and making it come alive for even that most jaded of audiences, the teenager. David's dedication to teaching and his overwhelming desire to help kids thrive kept him in the classroom for over 50 years. A good decade past the time when most sensible people would have laid down the chalk and settled onto the sofa in their Velcro slippers. But every time David talked of retirement, there was that phone call. There is a teacher on long-term sick. It's the GCSE year group. They've been left with no steady hand to guide them through that crucial year, and he just couldn't say no, because David strives for excellence and wants kids to have every opportunity to do the same. Whilst teaching full-time, David was also found time to become an active member of the local brass band, playing the tuba, which I believe is the largest of the brass family, which is always slightly amusing given David's stature.
But a big mouth.
Yes, but as David would say, if you're going to do something, go big or go home, so the tuba it was. He played since his youth, and I understand his earlier years in Glastonbury was part of the brass band, and he travelled nationally and internationally and took part in some very high-profile band competitions, even, I believe, taking stage at a local and rather famous music festival. As his playing days came to an end, David turned his hand to conducting, and this passion that David exhibits in everything he does came to the surface again because David tended to do little jumps and hops whilst he was wielding the baton on the stage, which, again, quite amusing. But it's thanks to David. I always enjoyed instrumental music, but thanks to David and going to these performances where he was either taking part or conducting, it gave me a new appreciation for the different levels of music, the different melodies that go into musical pieces. And I also realised I had quite a fondness for Elgar because he tended to leave it on and calm. I've also realised, David's knowledge of classical music is legendary. Playing the first few bars, he knows what it is, what key it's in, who's conducting it, where it was played, and you know what the front violin was wearing. Is really quite astonishing. But he's always open to listening to new music. He's recently discovered two of my favourites from How to Train Your Dragon and the film Meet Joe Black, which just goes to show that you can teach old dogs new tricks. And although his greatest love will always be the works of Sibelius. He was also able to share this passion for music with a wider audience when he did a stint at Glastonbury FM. So he had a weekly show on the radio where he chose a letter of the alphabet and talked and played all things musical relating to that particular letter. And he was able to share this with Jack one Christmas when Jack took part in the Christmas show and said a little happy Christmas to everybody, which was quite nice. But away from the teaching and away from the music, he took a short hiatus and turned his hand to a different skill, driving. He used skill very loosely there. And he trained to become a driving instructor. So this involves taking the advanced driving test, which, much to our disappointment, is not like the police take. There's no high-speed chases, there's no donuts, there's no squealing tyres. Apparently it's about driving correctly. But you know, this is David. If he's going to take a driving test, if there's a driving test to be had, it will be the most excellent one there is. So David is a proud member of the Institute of Advanced Motorists, and we do not at all take the mick out of him for the fact that the initials for that are the same as a well-known pet food. We don't take the mick at all. But, and it also means apparently you still cannot drive around Aztec West Roundabout.
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, we are with Mr Greenway at the end of the evening, and I've just been told he's been diagnosed as functionally incompetent. Functionally incompetent.
Yes.
That's something.
When it comes to loading dishwashers.
Yes, we can all aspire to that,
Yeah.
can't we?
If you load it badly enough, you'll never be asked to do it again. Well, I haven't quite got to the stage now where my wife...
Hi, darling.
Bye, darling. Where my wife opens the dishwasher and faints. My dishwasher has been making a few noises recently.
Is it?
Yeah. I keep buying her chocolates, but she still makes noises.
There you go. Anyway, it's been an absolute pleasure.
And had a few drinkers, have you?
Pleasure one. It's been a pleasure working with you over the years.
It's great fun.
I've started my channel, and I will miss this chap. But we've got another wonderful chap over there. What do you think about Newtown Crow?
I think he's doing an excellent job. Yeah, really trying. You couldn't have hand over to a better guy.
Absolutely.
Hope they make him a new outfit.
Yeah,
Because mine's a bit shorter.
and maybe control the chops.
No, they're fine.
They're fine. They're good chops, aren't they? We should get them pointed.
And I wouldn't ever dare tell the town crier how to arrange his chops.
So there you go. Sage advice from an ex-town crier.
Yeah.
Do not discuss how our new town crier manages his chops. David, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for everything you've done for the town.
Thank you.
Enjoy your retirement, and we'll be talking scripts. We're going to do a film. His Time's a Town Crier. And speaking of which, we have them both here. Now, you might notice there's a slight discrepancy in height. So we get our new guy. He's got this stand so that everybody's the same height. So how do you feel now that you've sort of seen your predecessor made a Freeman in the town?
That's wonderful. I think it's absolutely right, and yeah,
So
it's how it should be.
we'll be making you one day.
Yeah,
We'll see.
We'll see.
That's it. Yeah.
You've got to stick around for 10 minutes.
Let me see if I can get 40. Right, I'm off. So
video coming on.
congratulations. It's an absolute pleasure to know you. Thank you.
And I'll see you later on in there.
Happy shouting.
Happy shouting indeed.
Crying.
See you in a bit.
David.
Well, there you go. There's David saying goodbye to everybody. We're going to do the same thing now. I'm going to get off because I've got to go next door to the Abbey because it's night at the Abbey. I nearly said night at the Opera, giving my age away there. But it's nearly time for night at the Abbey. So I'm going to head off
And I'm going to do that now. And I'll see you later. Thank you for watching.
The Heart of the Tribe Gallery is a community art gallery situated near the top of Glastonbury High Street. They host amazing exhibitions supporting local artists, and they have a beautiful secret garden out the back. So be sure to check them out and support local art.